Hello and welcome to the Royal Trap. I am RMP 792 and yeah, sorry for not showing the usual opening spiel, but there's two reasons I didn't. One, it's very short, and two, I've had to do a wee bit of messing around in order to actually get this game to record. For some reason, Fraps just did not like to see it, so I think I've managed to convince it, but we'll have to see. Right, so this is the Royal Trap, which I just found about 10 minutes ago. But it's made by Hanako Games, who are the same people who made Long Live the Queen, which I haven't covered on this channel, but I probably should do because it's pretty damn good. So yeah, I have not tried this yet, so let's just start the game. Because yes, I do like Long Live the Queen, and hopefully something made by the same people will be interesting. Oscar's hair never behaves. He tried to grow it out 2 years ago, but he gave up long before reaching the adventurous man's ponytail he was hoping to achieve. Instead of gently bouncing waves, he got lank lumps that brushed his cheeks and made him fidget like a pup with fleas. In the end, it irritated him long enough that he stole the shears while I was away and shaved his head near bald. Well, at least in the places he could reach. Then he sulked when I showed him in a mirror. We hid from the public for months after that. But now, his hair reflects his nature. Sweet, rumpled, a little unruly, clumsy little boy in the body of a young man. Do I look alright? You look fine, my lord. Why do you keep calling me that? You never did before. We've never been in a foreign palace before, my lord. It's important we make a good impression on your potential bride. That means no making eyes at the royal chefs to get an extra pastry. You know your place, and I know mine. You must maintain dignity. Right up until I choke on my own foot like I always do. Well, when you're wedded, you'll have wisdom to rely on. Only if I actually do find a princess willing to have me. Your wife could still be very wise and wealthy, even if she isn't a king's wisdom. If I married you, I would have a wise wife. And then you'd starve to death. You are not allowed to try and make a silk purse out of me just because you're afraid you won't impress Princess Cassidy. My lord. There, see? You were doing better for a moment. I can't do this alone, Maddie. And you can't give me proper advice if you're too busy bowing to keep your eyes open. I give in and stick my tongue out at him in a most undignified manner. There's my girl. Don't say that, people will get the wrong idea. Which wrong idea? That we're something more than friends, which we're not and we never will be. I know. Help me with the belt? Yes, my lord. Prince Oscar of... Why do these places always have silly, barely pronounceable names? Prince Oscar of Ostendoir. Screw it. Prince Oscar of Ostendoir is something close to my best friend. He is also my employer, or, well, the son of my employer, depending on how you look at it. More importantly, he's my responsibility, and one that I won't fail. I was born Miss Valentine Valios, daughter of a cadet branch of an insignificant noble house. To my misfortune, I was also born the second daughter. As such, what little wealth and prestige remained in our line was settled upon my sister. There just wasn't enough to divide between us and leave us any pretense of gentility. Thus, I was raised to be my sister's shadow, a replacement in case of disaster, and to have nothing of my own. I was taught to be silent and supportive, never to disgrace my family by betraying my own desires. If I learned my lessons well enough, I might be there still. Instead, my greatest mistake became my only opportunity. I was in the first rush of adolescence at the time, enjoying the freedom to run with longer legs, and my family were attending court, making conversation with people far too important for the presence of a child who was heir to nothing. I was ordered to stay in our rooms, unseen and unheard, and wait patiently for their return. But I wanted a mid-afternoon snack, and I was tired of waiting. I came up with a plan that involved leading my governess on a false trail while I lifted the keys from a careless steward and wriggled my way into the palace cellars. There, I discovered that I was not the first child to mount an expedition for sweets. A blond boy, his face streaked with tears, had managed to trap his hand between the planks of an old crate. It fell to me to calm him down and work out a plan to get him free unharmed, and both of us out of there without being caught. If I'd known he was a prince, I might have been more successful. I thought his family like mine wouldn't want to raise a fuss or admit that anything had gone wrong. Instead, my escape route led us straight into the path of his parents' frantic searching. Even then, I tried to protect him. My mother was horrified at what I'd done. She would have had me whipped and confined to my room on bread and water for a week. But the king of Osundar saw things differently. Saw in me someone who could keep up with his youngest son's mischief and get him out of trouble safely. Thus, I received a royal appointment as the valet of the young Prince Oscar, his companion, his maidservant, his advisor, and his agent. And for the first time in my life, I had a place that belonged to me. I've studied for him, trained and fought for him, and if necessary I am expected to give my life for him, and I will not fail. Now that Oscar is reaching adulthood, he must find a bride willing to give him control of her ancestral lands to him. I would not say it to discourage him, but I don't expect it to be these lands. Gwildor is a large and powerful kingdom, and the competition is likely to be fierce. I've never met Princess Cassidy, but I know she's quite young, and she's certainly under no obligation to choose a husband in a hurry. This occasion is only the beginning of a long process for all of us. Still, her debut is a small and prestigious gathering, and it was good fortune that Oscar received an invitation. Here, he will gain experience in dealing with royal women who are not his relations, so he can achieve a good marriage in the future. And that's my final purpose, to prepare him, polish him, make of him a man whom a princess could trust with her heart and her home. And if no one wishes him for a husband, then all these years have been wasted, and, well, I'll be sent home in disgrace, with nothing, or worse than nothing. And yet, if he is chosen, then he will become a king, master of a territory far from his birth, and he'll leave me behind. What happens to me then? I can't let my worries about the future distract me. I have to focus on Oscar and everything that's happening right now. And no matter what happens, I will stay in control. I won't let anyone down. Not my family, not Oscar, and not myself. I think you're ready. Are you coming? You're allowed to attend the presentation, just not the ball. Of course, I need to see your competition. Good. Madeline. Yes? I want you to know, I really appreciate everything you do for me. I know that. Of course, my lord. He lets out a slow breath and shakes his head. Well, I suppose we should go. The presentation hall of the Kingdom of Gwildor is not so much larger than that of my homeland, but the decorations seem more ornate, the jewels more lustrous. Perhaps it's only the dazzle of unfamiliarity. I've never crept along these walls on secretive errands, only forced to polish them as punishment. Only 3 foreign princes are present for the festivities, and according to court gossip, 5 were invited, but 1 politely declined and the other, well, somewhat less politely refused to attend any event that involved Prince Nazagiri. Therefore, this debut becomes an intimate affair. It might appear that much more advantageous for those present. But the central focus of this event is the princess herself. Her Enlightened Highness, the Princess Cassidy! She walks into the room with poise, her head held high, and then hesitates, looking rapidly back and forth over the assembled personages, before continuing to her assigned position. She cannot acknowledge anyone here until they have been formally announced, of course, but no one could blame her for indulging a moment's curiosity. Gwellinor's heir has been famously kept in a cloistered existence until now, out of fear for her health. She might never have seen so many strangers at once. As we are gathered in celebration of her anniversary, the princess must have only the barest blush of 18 years, younger even than Oscar. Yet her face holds more maturity than her years would allow. She looks closer to my age, some 2 or 3 years older. Determining a woman's age, of course, is always an inexact science, and a noble woman's more so. In her youth, my mother was often mistaken for younger than she was, to her chagrin, and forced to disguise herself with paints and artifice to give the correct impression. This trait, like so much else, she did not pass to me. Now that the princess is in place, the guests can be announced. His Royal Highness, the Prince Gaston. Wow, that guy's got floppy hair. The Prince of Bardone is a golden barrel of a man, his curls as gleaming as the buckles on his shoes and every conceivable place in between. So broad are his shoulders that I imagine if startled, his mighty arms would tear right through his glittering wardrobe. I do not envy this tiring woman. With brisk strides he crosses the hall, stopping neatly at the minimum distance from the princess that propriety will permit, and sweeps a dramatic bow. It is my great pleasure to be in the presence of such a rare flower as your highness. Thank you. In honor of your anniversary, I present you with this rare Tapurian essence. May its scent bring you joy. He offers her a bottle of faceted dark glass capped with gold, which she takes with interest. A perfume! What does it smell like? The servant beside her makes a quick chopping gesture with his hand. I shouldn't open it here. Thank you, Prince Gaston, and welcome to Guelinor. She hands the bottle to an attendant, who sets it aside. Prince Gaston bows his head and then steps aside for the next presentation. His Royal Highness, the Prince Nazagi. What is it with anime and the way they draw blokes? As in, they always look very feminine blokes. There's nothing wrong with feminine blokes, I'm just wondering why the anime style does that. The Prince of Asneth is a slender, sharp-figured man, attired in fine silks which glide soundlessly along the floor as he walks. His delicacy and refined appetites are well known, and as are the rumours of his less appealing qualities. He has not a warm face, and the narrow eyes, the elegant nose, the thin lips, they all seem crafted for expressions of cruelty. I'm not a flighty scullion to believe everything I hear, and I find it entirely likely that it is his appearance which gives rise to such tales, and not the actions the prince has taken. But I would still be cautious if I found myself alone with him. Approaching the princess, he bows with his hands at his sides. Gracious... That was higher pitched than I intended. Gracious Highness, you do me much honour with your invitation. I can only hope my humble gifts can convey my gratitude. He snaps his fingers, and the servant rushes forward to present the princess with bundles of blue and purple silk. You are very kind, Prince Nazagi. Be welcome. Princess Nazagi bows a second time and then steps backwards, retreating without ever turning his back on the princess. And then it's our turn. His Royal Highness, the Prince Oscar. He may not be the most elegant man in the room, but Oscar is a prince nevertheless. He walks with confidence, then presses his hand to his chest and bows with one foot, sliding respectfully back. Your Highness, thank you for granting me the opportunity to meet you and convey my good wishes in person. I bring you the gift of a flower that will never fade. He holds up a blue velvet presentation box containing a brooch in the shape of a rose, its petals encrusted with jewels. It's lovely, thank you. She seems honestly pleased, and his answering grin is equally sincere. Had he stopped there, he would have left an excellent impression. Oh god. Please tell me I'm not going to have to recite bad poetry. I also wrote you a poem. Would you like to hear it? Oh no. Okay, I suspect this is going to be bad on purpose, but this is still going to hurt. As fairest maid to fairest day can wish, the darkest cares away. As fish and frog shall meet and laugh upon the golden seed and chaff. The servant behind the princess clears her throat audibly. Perhaps you could tell it to me later. I mustn't keep everyone waiting. Oh, right. Well, joyeux anniversaire. With a parting bow, Oscar backs away, and thus the presentation of the three princes is concluded. There is, however, a fourth prince in the palace. He is Prince Callum, the youngest living son of the King of Guelinor, still a bachelor. The sour expression on his face does him no favours. Wonder if he looks that way all the time, or if it's just the presence of his competitors that curdles his stomach. Some men are like that. All princes are his competition. Well, not for Princess Cassidy, of course, but for any other heir he might hope to win. Any prince can marry a princess if she chooses him. Birth order makes no difference. A man rises or falls by his charms and his ambition. Charm has to be Oscar's strength, because ambition never was. I suppose that's my fault. It's hard to teach him to want more in life when he seemed so happy as it was. The servant beside Princess Cassidy rings a silver handbell. At that delicate tone, Princess Cassidy claps her hands together and smiles at us all. In the name of my mother, wise Paloma, I bid you welcome to Quellenor. May your visits be filled with joy. With those words, she withdraws from our company. Formal dinner will begin in 1 hour at your convenience. Please assemble in the drawing room for aperitifs. That invitation is extended to the assembled dignitaries, of course, and does not include the attendants such as myself. We will feed upon the leavings of the feast while they and the local nobility are at the ball. I have no true desire to attend a royal ball, though. Glittering costumes and skilled musicians create a wonderful atmosphere, but the need to maintain a perfect appearance through hours of socializing on your feet must spoil it. Certainly Oscar always complains. I expect we servants have far more fun spying on the activities of our masters. And yes, I'm hardly alone in my more clandestine skills. Every palace has its secrets, and people whose role is to find them or to bury them. Every noble needs tasks done on the quiet now and then, and some treasures are more closely guarded than sweets in a cellar. As the gathering dissolves, Oscar touches my arm and takes me aside. Well, what do you think? Did she like me? She appears to like everyone. He's serious. In terms of gifts, she clearly had more interest in the jewellery and the perfume than the silk. But what did she think of me? That you're young and impetuous and don't know when to stop talking, I expect. And that your poetry is terrible. No, that's what you think. That's what everyone thinks, because it's true. So you think she doesn't like me? I didn't say that. She's new at this too. She's young, she's lonely, and her manners aren't perfectly polished. You should talk to her tonight. You might make good friends. Right, the ball. There's something I should tell you. You changed your mind about the shoes? No, the shoes are fine. It's... In my valise, there's a red scroll case. There's a letter inside. The letter is for you. What? Why would he be carrying a letter for me? Who would it be from? I don't have any other close connections. My family? You see me once a year to ensure I haven't lost my position or disgraced my upbringing, and other than that, I barely seem to remember that I exist. I can't see them sending me praises or asking for favours. What if some ill fate did befall my sister? What if they want me to give up my place and go back to them as if nothing ever happened? I'd have to go, it's my duty, but... Don't look so worried. That's easy for him to say. Just read it, alright? He wants my reassurance, so I better give it to him. After all, this could be nothing, and I don't want to distract him from his performance tonight. Alright. Good. I'll see you later tonight. Now he's the one looking worried. Relax, you're doing fine. Go, have a good time. But not too good, right? Try not to cause an international incident. My lord? There's no use trying to sound formal when you're scolding me. Yes, my lord. Now that's no fun. No, my lord. He sighs and shakes his head. All right, I'm going. I don't answer him, but merely nod my head. At last, he turns away to follow the others. I'm on my own. Sorry about the yawning. I took a roundabout route back to our assigned quarters, scouting my environment while never straying too far out of bounds to attract attention. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, it's just a habit. Learn your way around when you don't need to, so that the knowledge is there when it becomes useful. It's only a coincidence that allows me to put off reading this letter, right? Oh, I can almost make myself believe that. Oscar told me not to worry, which in itself probably means that I should. If he could say such a thing, then he must know what the letter is. So it's not my family summoning me home. If he knew something like that, he wouldn't have wanted to talk about it earlier, I'm sure. He wouldn't keep it hidden. Perhaps it's not from my family, but his? A secret assignment to be performed in Quellenor? Oh well, quickest begun is soonest done. I open the valise and carefully lift out the folded items of clothing until I discover the cylinder of red leather. It has a more solid heft than I expected. Either the leather is very thick indeed, or there's something more than the letter inside. I unbuckle the cap and shake out an unsealed roll of parchment in a little blue velvet box. What is this? I open the box to find another piece of jewellery, a far cry from the sparkling fantasy offered to Princess Cassidy. It's a pendant, polished stone wrapped in wire, its colour a warm honey gold speckled with light. But why is it here? Yeah, I suppose I ought to read the letter. My dearest Maddie, I've been wanting to tell you how I feel, but every time I try, you turn me aside or laugh it away. I would write you a poem, but I know you hate my poetry, so I'll just say it simply. I love you. I know that you can never return my affections. You still think of me, that child with his hand caught in a cookie jar. Little boy who didn't even come up to your chin. I get older, but so do you, and, well, I can't ever catch up. I'm telling you this because it's true, and not because I expect you to do anything about it. That's why I'm writing it down instead of telling you in person. I don't want to embarrass you or make you have to tell me an answer. I would never want you to pretend you love me. All I want is for you to know how I feel. Please wear my token to show that you understand, and I will never mention it again. I want to know and that you don't hate me, that's all. You want me to be a good prince and win a royal bride, so I'll do it. But I'm doing it for you. Yours, Oscar. The lighter goes blurry as my eyes sting with moisture. Oh, Oscar, do you really think it's just because you're younger than I am? Oh, he's a prince. He's the son of a king. He's been raised in luxury and trained to govern and inspire. I'm a servant with no land, no fortune, no inheritance at all. What would he have if he married me? Whatever gift his family saw fit to hand out, they didn't disown him on the spot. And then, nothing. My employment would be necessity to be terminated. And we would be turned into the town to support ourselves. Fool's paradise soon crumbled to dust. God, what would we do? Neither he nor I have ever been trained in the profession. Where would we live? We wouldn't have so much of a roof over our heads. It doesn't matter how I feel about him or how he feels about me. It can't happen. I won't do that to him. He's wrong to think I didn't know. Of course I knew. All the more reason for me to keep my own emotions under control. Practically from the cradle, I was trained in self-control. My emotions, my reactions, even my face. Never to flinch, never to cry, never to say anything I wanted or to have any wants beyond doing what my parents told me. I was supposed to sit quietly in the background until I was needed. Eventually, I suppose I would have lived in my sister's house as a poor relation and unpaid housekeeper and never had a life of my own. My little rebellion, my misadventure, came as a shock to my parents who had thought me so obedient, but even out of their care, I'm still the daughter that they raised. It remains my nature to be cautious and quiet and restrained, and no matter what I feel inside. I'm good at it, sometimes so good I don't even know my own feelings anymore. Except with Oscar. He makes me laugh, he teases me, he forces me to tease him back. He lights up when he smiles, and even now when he's not here, he's almost managing to make me cry. He's my best friend all these years. I owe him everything, and I won't let him ruin his life for me. But even through some miracle, if I were granted an estate of my own... Nope, it would always come back to bite you. I still wouldn't marry him. He's too much of a brother for me to have any romantic impulse to survive. I'm his friend and companion. I spend my days working to make him attractive to other women. Of course I love him, but not in the way that he wishes. I didn't encourage him, I never wanted to hurt him, but this time I couldn't protect him from himself. At least he's had the sense to avoid the indignity of a scene. He claims this letter ends the matter with no reply necessary. If we never speak of this again, he can believe whatever comforts him most. That's what matters. That's what matters after all. His comfort, his future. But if this necklace is a love token, wearing it openly might give him false hope or raise questions from others. It would not benefit his chances with the princess to have me seen as his paramour. Oh dear. Difficult decisions. Ooh, this one's actually making me think. Love a decision that can do that. Can we get a nice wear it subtly option? You know, let's face it, I wear this one ring pretty much constantly. In fact, I have worn it every day for the last several years. But, you know, I tend to have it under, you know, my jumper most of the time if I'm wearing one, or under my t-shirt occasionally. But... wear it. For his own good, let's wear it. The only thing that Oscar asked for was a sign that I knew and accepted his feelings, not that I shared them. How can I deny him that? I fastened the clasp of the chain behind my neck and let the smooth, cold stone settle against my chest. It's just a little trinket after all. No one at Oscar will notice. So then, that's resolved. It's done, and I don't need to think about it again. But then what should I think about? I'm at a loose end. You know, assignments or tasks to perform. I can't help Oscar in any way until he returns in the evening, and the servant's dinner won't be available for hours yet. With no goal in mind, there's nothing to be gained at the moment by exploring. There's no balance to the risk of being caught somewhere I shouldn't be. In Osendoir, I would have many options available for any windfall of free time. But there are limits to how one should amuse oneself in a foreign palace. Mending, if it were needed, reading, cards. I would draw 2 decks of cards from my belongings and begin to arrange them into the 10 tableaux of the Thieves' Fortress. It's a difficult game, requiring patience and skill. Extracting kings and wisdoms from a solid castle should never be an easy task. As for the lesser royals, they sometimes extract themselves. Oscar must have dodged all his minders in order to buy that token without raising questions. Well, if I provided the motivation for him to stretch himself a bit, that's all to the good. A prince should learn to plan ahead, and to take bold actions. His parents might not be pleased by the reasons, but better misguided attachment than some foolish plan about joining the Gondoliers or apprenticing to an alchemist. One card, then another. I've done my job the best that I could. I've straightened his posture, flattened his looks, and I've kept him attractive but unharmed. I've eavesdropped and intrigued on his behalf, and if I truly have to convince him to give up the poetry, I could call it a complete success. But on the balance, all is well. No doubt he'll make a royal marriage at some point. Only not too soon, I hope. He's so young, and well, I'm not ready to move on. Sometime later, my card game is interrupted by a knock at the door. Opening it, I find a young woman in the livery of a page. Young, yes. Younger than myself, if I had to guess, but old for such a rank. It's about 14 being the usual age in Osendoir. You're summoned to the upper servants' dinner, miss. I'll escort you, yes? I can find my own way. Oh, you could, but it's my job. I'll walk with you. Fine. No doubt she's dawdling with me, in order to avoid some more onerous duty. I can't blame her, I've played the same game myself. That's a pretty thing you're wearing. My hand flies by instinct to cover the amber stone and I force myself to relax. Thank you. Mind your toes at dinner, miss. That's Sophie's folk are here, and they're hard people. Sophie? The Duchess Sophia. Only she's not here on account she just had a baby, you see. But she's cousin to the princess, so she had to send her people, and they complained about everything, and you'll see. And her husband, the Duke? Duke Farod. He's at the ball, of course. Of course. And if I was to wish to catch a glimpse of such an illustrious personage? Such as what? Oh, you want to spy on the ball? Easiest way is through the servants' door in the second morning hall. Turn left, go up a half stair to the viewing passage. Different way's better if you want to get in fast when someone calls you, but just for looking, that's the best. Thank you. Her language skills may be unpolished, but she knows her way around. She might be a useful source of information during our stay here. Have you heard any interesting stories lately? Always stories with so many guests, miss. There's a gentleman's son throwing coals because another fellow's wearing the same tailoring. And I heard from the boot boy that one of them had to be sent home in disgrace for planning to cause a scene at the ball. They were going to have a fight about clothes. Oh no, it wasn't those. This young lady had heard the story about the princess dying of the plague. Well, it's a sour bite to say, but there's rumours sometimes. What rumours? That the little princess went the same way as her brother Caspian. The one we've got now is an imposter. Anyone who's ever seen the princess and the king's wisdom together knows better. Some little miss who hadn't was planning to make a name for herself till her lord father who had got wind of it. Imagine that. Stand in plain as you please, telling the lady whatevers that they're all cuckoos and not ladies at all. You turn the whole country upside down. She seems to be slipping into an accent. Right, that to me seems like a reasonable-ish point to end this first video. So I'll say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next